It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and today we are talking about the role it plays in our court system. Joining me now is Michael Harper, Pennsylvania's new mental health court administrator. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
And quite a title. Tell me what this means and what your role really is.
Well, as behavioral health administrator, I'm really a facilitator at this point. I'm helping the courts lead change. About 6 months ago, the Chief Justice Association, which is all the chief justices in every state, issued a report encouraging courts to take a leadership role. So our Pennsylvania Supreme Court has hired me to help facilitate that change in our state. And what that really means is we need judges to lead conversations. You know, across the country, we've seen behavioral health, meaning mental health, addiction, getting worse, both in terms of the frequency in the courts and the severity. And it's not just in the criminal side. We're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it with youth. We're seeing it in the district courts. We're seeing it with family law, with child custody, with child support. So, you know, we're a reactive system. Cases are coming to us. We want to make sure we're doing all we can with our court processes to do things as best as we can. But we also want to spur conversations in the community and in Harrisburg about how to create real change.
Well, it must seem daunting almost because, you know, we don't want there to be this stigma on mental health. It's not anybody's fault if they're struggling in that way. And yet when there starts to be problems breaking the law and that sort of thing, then then there is an issue.
Yeah, one of our goals is early intervention. So it's helping schools, it's helping juvenile courts, again, before things even get to the court. So I'll throw a few stats. I don't like stats because it gets boring. But about 90% of addiction happens during the teenage years or early 20s. So it all starts when they're 12.
Yeah, right.
So if we can get kids talking about how they're feeling, asking for help, really creating that atmosphere, they can get the help. It's when people don't ask for help that things start progressing. It doesn't feel daunting to me, to be honest, because I've been doing this for a long time and I've never been so proud of the court system, the leadership that they're showing, because everybody is talking about how can we make it better? And that's really different. I think in 2007, there were funding cuts in the state. Counties have been struggling since then, but there's new leadership in Harrisburg, there's new leadership in the courts, and I'm actually very encouraged, very encouraged.
Well, then you're the right man for the job. You really are. So let's talk about getting in that early intervention. You mentioned schools, for instance. What are some things that can be done? How do we get them the resources they need to start at 12 or 13?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you know, obviously, so I have always wanted schools to be the primary spot for people to get help versus the court system.
Right.
If you're coming to prison, if you're coming to juvenile justice, if you're being placed, that's the wrong system. So we want people to get help, and I think schools is a great place. So creating a space, creating a culture where people can ask for help, it's kind of that simple, because once you start asking for help, the help comes. So there's best evidence practices that schools can start enforcing or implementing, and we want to just create those conversations. So what's really going to drive this is when local judges in every county seat are asking for stakeholder meetings, convening meetings, and people from the community will come in, and we'll have the schools in, we'll have the district courts, we'll have people that run the prisons, we'll have the treatment providers, we'll have the mental health directors, and we'll say what's working, what's not, and what are the priorities, what are the top, I'm asking people, what's the top 3? Because you can't fix it all at the same time. And then we're going to take that top 3 to the governor's office and the legislature, and we're going to just keep the conversations going.
So what do we do once somebody, because you know we're helping this next generation hopefully, right? So what do we do with the group of people who's already in prison, who will then exit, maybe still dealing with those same mental health issues without treatment, and then will re-enter society? You know, how do we help those people too?
Great question. So right now we have 8 innovator counties in our state, and there's so much leadership going on right now. We just haven't connected all the dots, but we have 8 counties that are innovators in doing exactly what you're saying. They're doing the best practices, the best things they can do. So one of the things you can do is when someone first gets, big thing we're doing is when they come into contact with law enforcement is now being trained, and they have been for some time, to recognize this is mental health.
Right.
Let's de-escalate instead of escalating, and let's try to get the person some help. Now that's the weak link. Where do they go for help? So that's where we know we're going to need more help from Harrisburg on that. But if they need to come to prison, they'll do assessments quickly. When I first started doing this in the mid-90s, people would sit for 6 months in jail and we didn't know they were there.
Yeah.
Now, sad to say, that's probably still happening in some places, but not many, but we're going to make sure it's not happening anywhere. So when I'm going around now to different regions, I'm telling judges, make sure you can count the people in your jail that are sick. I want to know who's there. I want you to know who's there, and what are we doing to help them. So that's the beginning, is you count them and you recognize they're there and you see where the impediments are. But again, we have a lot of counties that have been doing a lot of work because we've been getting these clients for a long time. You know, we have to build up the infrastructure other than the prisons.
Right,
And that's the main goal. That's the main goal. So we're pretty good at dealing with them when they come in and trying to connect them out. Again, there's these bottlenecks. If they're in prison, where are they going to go?
Where are they going to go?
That's where we need more places for them to go.
Thank you so much.
Right.
There's a lot of work to do, but like I said, I think you're the right man for the job.
Right,
You're
thank
working
you.
hard already. Thank you.
Thank you, Heather.
Really appreciate it.